The United States is about to break and nobody is willing to talk about it.
It's July 1st, so time to see if gas prices really did go up 65 cents a gallon.
Trump supporter from Indianapolis here, and I just want to say that our gas prices are not down.
I just got off the fucking phone with Geico. They increased my monthly insurance rate from $253 to $307 a month for my insurance.
The quality of literally everything has gone down in the United States. Obviously, the quality of life, that goes without saying.
Living in America in 2025 feels like you're trying to breathe while someone's hand is over your mouth. And they're charging you rent for it.
I'm about to show you $10 worth of groceries in America.
You ever wonder how people in America afford, well, anything from rent that feels like a second mortgage to grocery bills that make you question your life choices? Yeah, this is life in the U.S. right now. Whether you're thinking of moving here, planning a trip, or just curious how much a pack of eggs can ruin your week. Today, we're breaking down the real cost of living in America in 2025. It's not just gas prices and avocado toast. We're talking rent, healthcare, minimum wage versus reality, and why some people are working 3 jobs just to survive. So if you're into real talk, facts, and the occasional sarcasm, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get into it.
Hey, you lot think London's bad, bro? They're charging $10.29 for cocoa butter and $11.49. Yeah, it's long. It's long. An hour's wages to cream your leg. That was long, bro. It's alright, bro. Me, I'll go that, yeah. And it's been on my skin. Are you alright? $11. Hi. Don't tell my dad it was $11 when I was a kid to cream me. He would just lay on the floor. He says, okay, put on your singlets.
I don't know if what I'm seeing is a mistake or not, but a 12-pack of Pepsi, $10.49. I am at Publix in Florida, period. This was $6.99 a week ago. All of them for a 12-pack. Trump supporter from Indianapolis here, and I just want to say that our gas prices are not down. They are higher. Comment and tell me where you're from and tell me if your gas prices are higher or lower. I'm tired of the lies.
Okay, this is an update on the gas update. Yesterday afternoon, it was 128. I decided to wait until nighttime because I'm noticing the difference, and it was 118. I said I would update you today. It is almost 11 a.m. and gas is at 130.3. A 12-cent difference from last night until today. I work until 7. I'm really curious to see what it's like at 7 o'clock tonight. It's probably going to be like 95 cents. Oh, and by the way, American people, I'm Canadian. So that's why the gas prices seem a little different, and it may seem like it's cheaper, but actually it's not. Nothing here is cheaper. Okay.
So all of you bitching about these higher gas prices now on July the 1st, how about you go look at your governor? Your governor is your issue. It's not Donald Trump. Yeah, it's not Donald Trump. It's your governors. If you live in a blue state, that's your issue. Especially Illinois and California, to name a big 2 nominators. I'm going to tell you, maybe you should vote a little wiser this next election when the governor is to be elected. Elect somebody that has common sense instead of stupidity. Just saying.
It's July 1st, so time to see if gas prices really did go up 65 cents a gallon. Let's go. On June 30th, the Chevron was $4.99, and on July 1st, $4.99. On June 30th, the GNM was $4.19, and on July 1st, the GNM was $4.29. On June 30th, the Shell station was $4.19, and on July 1st, it was $4.19. So all these reports claiming prices were going up by 65 cents was just a bunch of baloney.
The executives of Geico Car Insurance are smoking crack because apparently my policy is going up to $400 a month when just 2.5 years ago it was $135 a month. That is a 200% increase in 2.5 years. At this rate, I'm better off having no insurance and just paying out of pocket if I have an accident. So I need some advice because I don't want to sell my car, but I'm not paying $400 a month to insure it.
I just got off the fucking phone with Geico. They increased my monthly insurance rate from $253 to $307 a month for my insurance. Oh, because of inflation. Because a lot of people are getting in car wrecks and they need to pay for their claims. That's what they told me. Are you fucking kidding me? And I asked the lady, hey, did you get a wage increase? She said, oh no. Fuck off, America. I'm fucking tired of living here.
These grocery prices in rural Washington.
The United States is about to break and nobody is willing to talk about it. If we as a country don't make a change here, we are cooked. The media doesn't give it the attention it deserves. Politicians won't say it out loud, but our country, it's drowning in over $36 trillion in debt. And here's the terrifying part. We're now spending more than $1 trillion a year just to pay the interest. Not the debt itself, just the interest. It takes my breath away whenever I talk about it. Imagine you maxed out your credit card that you have, then took out more just to cover your monthly payments. That's what we're doing as a government and as a country. And when the bill comes due, it's you who's going to pay the price. Higher taxes, slash services, or worse, God forbid, a financial collapse that would make 2008 look like a hiccup. If we don't change course here, folks, if we don't stop printing money, overspending, and kicking this can down the road, your future, our future, won't be stable jobs and affordable homes. It'll be layoffs, rent that you can't afford, and retirement accounts that don't mean anything. Heck, some of you are saying right now, I'm already feeling the effects. They'll try to distract you with these headlines and drama, but this is the real threat we are facing, and nobody's coming to save us. I'm curious, what do you think about this in the comment section below? For more unapologetic and trustworthy news, hit that follow button. I appreciate you.
I'm about to show you $10 worth of groceries in America. Bread and eggs, $4.79 and $4.70 something or another. $10 for bread and eggs. Good job.
Living in America in 2025 feels like you're trying to breathe while someone's hand is over your mouth. And they're charging you rent for it. As soon as you get paid, it's gone. You buy groceries and the bags are lighter. You fill your tank and the needle mocks you. Food's up, rent's up, insurance, utilities, coffee. I mean, even your damn toothpaste is up. Everything's up. Except the paycheck. Oh, and everything's also smaller. Shrinkflation? Yeah, that's the way they rob you while smiling in your face. You're not imagining it. The box is smaller. The portions are skimpier. The price is higher, and you're supposed to eat it with a smile. This isn't bad budgeting. This isn't laziness. This is a rigged game where everyone at the top profits and everyone at the bottom is a slave. We're getting taxed, drained, and blamed every step of the way. If you feel it too, you're not crazy. You're just living in America in 2025. And it's fucking brutal.
I make $120,000 living in Irvine, California. Let me break down for you how much money I take home every paycheck. So my company pays their employees bi-monthly, which means that we have 24 pay periods. So $120,000 divided by 24 is $5,000 in gross pay per paycheck. So this next section right here is what I call the Ukraine section. So this is all the government taxes that I pay, okay? So we have federal income tax at $600, Social Security at $307, Medicare at $72, California state income tax at $299. Then we have this $54 right here for California state disability insurance. Now here is my voluntary contributions. I contribute $300 per paycheck to my 401k, and then I have health insurance at $44. So per paycheck, I net roughly around $3,320 per month. You multiply that by 2, I make $6,640 per month. That's really not a lot of money, especially if you are living in California. But again, that is what a low 6-figure salary looks like in California. So hope you enjoyed that breakdown. Like and follow for more.
The quality of literally everything has gone down in the United States. Obviously, the quality of life, that goes without saying. But also the quality of all goods and services and activities. You go in the grocery store, not only is everything exponentially priced and less in the packaging that it used to be, but also the quality is garbage. Anywhere you go, any service you want to get done for yourself, like even if you just go to the bank, you go out to eat to a restaurant, I mean, you can tell that people don't want to work. And even if they do want to work, they are shot. People don't even look like they exist at work anymore, so they cannot possibly give you good service. I'm sure restaurant workers and service workers that get tipped are going through it, because who has money to tip? Now, if I couldn't tip, I personally wouldn't even leave the house, but I know a lot of people feel differently than that. But even activities, I mean, you go to an amusement park, it's like a barren wasteland. Fairs and festivals, absolutely not the same. Kids' activities, not the same. Flying, horrible. There's just truly nothing that is an enjoyable experience anymore. Leaving the house is dystopian nightmare.
For anyone who is thinking about moving to New York and wants an idea of how much it actually costs to live there, these are my monthly expenses. So my biggest expense is currently rent, and I think if you want to live in the thick of things like downtown Manhattan or the Upper East Side or even Brooklyn, if you have a budget of somewhere between 2 to 4, you will be fine. And obviously it'll depend on if you want to be living by yourself or with housemates, exactly the location that you want to live in, and any amenities that you want your building to have. My next biggest expense is my co-working space. So I work out of a place called the Marlin in Soho. It is beautiful, but it is very expensive. So to hot desk, I pay $395. I think a WeWork though isn't that much cheaper. And there is a huge expense that I don't actually pay because I could no longer justify it. Last year I was paying $500 a month for health insurance, and when I got re-quoted, it was $600, and I work for myself, so I do not have an employer to cover my health insurance, and I couldn't do it. So I no longer have health insurance. I don't know. I need to sort that one out. Next one is the gym. So I pay $300 a month at Equinox now. I do not have the destination. So the destination pass gets you into all the very premium locations. But with this current plan that I have, you can still go to other states and go to an Equinox. What else do I pay for? My home internet is $30. My phone bill is $80, although that could be cheaper if I were to get some friends and get us onto a family plan. And then for laundry, because I do not have a laundry in my building or apartment, I pay about $25 to $30 a week for a full, a week of clothing. Groceries, it's usually 100-ish to 150 a week. I use Amazon Fresh or Fresh Direct. And then I split Amazon Prime with 2 friends, so I pay $8 a month. And I think that's it. I never really buy coffees out. I think that's where I save money, because it's all these dollars are in US dollars, but a coffee's $6, $7. I've seen $8 for a latte before. So that is a no from me. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I go back in 2 weeks and I cannot wait.
I mean, they're voting. They're voting now on this fucking bill, while the rest of the developed world, while every other developed country on planet Earth provides health care for their citizens, like fully, something we've never done in America. While every other developed country does that, our Congress is voting to literally give Americans less health care. If you're on Medicaid, 13 to 17 million people will be kicked off of it. If you're a caregiver and you're funded through Medicaid, you just lost your job. If you're a hospital and 30 to 40% of your income comes from Medicaid, which is true for a lot of rural hospitals, you're going to have to close down because businesses close when they lose 30 to 40% of their income. If SNAP benefits are getting cut, if you're a supermarket and 30 to 40% or more of your income comes from SNAP, you're going to have to close. If you receive SNAP, you might get kicked off of it. This is what our country's doing while every other developed country on earth takes care of their people. And why are we doing it? This is not even a joke. We're doing it to give tax cuts to billionaires, to increase funding for Department of Homeland Security, more specifically for ICE, as well as there's a bunch of other stuff hidden in this bill that's to the benefit of large corporations so that rich people get more rich. There's also stuff hidden in this bill that, will make it easier for Donald Trump to do dictatorial shit. Guys, it's over, bro. The reason that Donald Trump called this one big, beautiful bill, listen to me, I want you to understand something. Donald Trump has signed the least amount of legislation than any president prior to him in the last 100 plus years. He has been basically ruling by executive order since he took office. He's only been focused on one bill, one big, beautiful bill. The reason for that is this bill has all of his autocratic bullshit jammed in it, and he has basically given the Republicans an ultimatum: get on board or get kicked out of the cult. And they're all doing it. They're all talking a big game, but they're not doing shit. They're not voting no. You see, it went from the House to the Senate. Now it's back at the House. It's been at the House less than 24 hours. It's already on vote. So, listen, mark the day down, July 2nd. I think this will be the day when history is written that will officially mark the end of the American democratic experiment. Sorry.
Well, for everybody who follows me, I'm back, but for some reason, I usually take screenshots to show you the information, and it uploads on my iPhone. It's bigger. It's like 4:3 instead of 16.9. And no matter what I do, I can't fix that. I don't know what to do. If someone knows, please tell me. Okay. So these last 3 videos on the dollar and the geopolitical, I mentioned again that I believe we're in the 3-wave inflation. And a lot of the questions were around, why do you believe that? And that's a legit question. I don't know if my answer is legitimate, but this is my personal experience in getting to this point where I believe about the inflation. So here's our inflationary chart. And I came into the business in 1975 there, and I experienced the second and third wave of inflation. I never bought a par bond until 1983. I freaked out. I never bought one at par. And in fact we had OIDs, original issue discounts. So we would a new bond would come out and it would be issued at like 68 or 75 or something like that. An original issue discount, OID, because no one ever bought a par bond, okay, for years. So anyway, during this period of time, there is these analysts out there like Elliott Wave and the Kondratiev Wave. And these were people who believe that there are economic waves in history. And here's a brief discussion. You can read it. But Kondratiev believed that we had roughly a 60-year cycle divided in 2. 30 years of deflation, 30 years of inflation. All right? And I remember reading that. And during this period of time, out came a study that went back like whatever it was, 5, 6, 7, 800 years. Going 30 years to see if this was actually true in reality. Now, anybody who knows the data that we work with today, imagine doing that. So this was a classic unprovable economic theory based on bad data, but this is what everyone believed. Now, in reading through this, it became that everyone said, listen, for modern finance, 1952 is the key year. So if you go back, we had 1929, we had the Depression, so there was no inflation. Then we started World War II, we had total price controls. Some of the price controls were let off in 47. In 51, Eisenhower ran for president, and one of the planks of the Republican Party was to get rid of the last price controls. And so what happened is he was elected, as you know, and so all our inflationary charges begin in 1952. Okay, so I forgot all about it. So now all of a sudden we're in 1982, and down are coming the interest rates. It was obvious inflation was over and interest rates were dropping. In fact, as I told my clients, hey, this will be the highest interest rates you see in your lifetime. Barely anybody believed it. My traders, though, we stripped some 30-year Treasury bonds, 13 1/8, I believe they were. So in those days, it was much more fun to be a broker. You stripped your own zero coupon bond, all right? So different world today, everything packaged. But so we stripped some 30s, and I think it was my second best trade. People made 400% or 500% on that behind Triangle, okay? But it became obvious that 2012. So I thought to myself, hey, 1952, 1982, if I'm still alive in 2012, I'm going to look at 2012. So while we're here, why don't we go over here and look at the inflation rate here between 2010 and 11 into 12? It went straight down. It's almost zero, all right? So you had an inflation rate of almost zero, critical point. And here's my favorite chart of all time. This is our Fed balance sheet. And I just want to point out, during the great financial crisis, right, when we first did QE, we went up basically, $1.2 trillion for the great financial crisis. Now take us up here to about 2012, and then to 2014, we went up, I would say, maybe $1.5 trillion. Remember that, $1.5 trillion. Now you just saw what our inflation rate was. It was almost zero. And yet, we started QE again in 2012. And Perplexity tells us is that we have persistently high unemployment after the great financial crisis. We started the year 8.3, went down to 7.8, somewhere around there. We had very low inflation, we just saw that. Interest rates were practically zero, so there was really nothing else we could do except what? They did QE. Maybe the biggest decision the Federal Reserve has ever made in history. We didn't know it at the time, but that's what they did. And the reason that it may be the biggest decision, again, we can see where we went up to 4.5. We tried to start lowering it down there in 2019, okay? Basically, we started doing QT, and then COVID hit, and we went from 4 trillion to 9 trillion in basically a heartbeat, 2 years, okay? And so we flooded the money. Now we're down to 6.6. You can see in the left-hand corner up there, $6,662 billion, all right? So when it was 2012, I was up in New York. I was doing other businesses and so forth. But I remembered 52, 82, 2012, and I was expecting inflation to pick up. And of course, it didn't happen because we did QE. And QE is financial repression. That's exactly what it is. And as Perplexity says, is widely considered a form of repression. It suppresses interest rates. It creates a captive market for government debt. So when you're doing QE, guess what? You can issue all the debt you want. Guess what? We did. And then it reduces the real return on savings because, think about it, QE is to put your interest rates below the inflation rate, so your real interest rates are bad, okay? So you lose money for people who save. So now here's M2, and again, let's go back to 2012. It was around 8-point-some trillion dollars, okay? In 2012, 13, about $8.2 trillion. We're 21 $4.9 trillion right now. Okay, so M2 is up. So M2 is the liquidity of the market. And do we see the effect? What do I always say? The market is a function of liquidity, and I believe that Bitcoin is also a function of liquidity. And here are the S&P and Bitcoin overlaid with M2. And as you can see, pretty damn close, okay? So you can read this, that we have higher to go to the upside. I wouldn't argue with you. Now here's the S&P 500, and if you look up there, you can see the great financial crisis there, okay? But then you have to go up to that little downturn. That's our little downturn that we had in the market in 2012. So this is when we started QE again. I don't know. So I think we repressed a little bit too long. And here's the long bond. We're down around 423 again here. But I want you to go back to 2012, and you can see we're below 2.5%. So we had a little high unemployment, 7.8. We had zero inflation. We had very low bonds. And so we really started hitting QE again. We started repression. So it became my opinion that when we would get hit with inflation, it would be bigger than it was in the past. And I know this one shows us going up to around 7% or something like that, but as everyone knows, we went over 9% and then we came back down. But this is without less food and energy, but we were over 9%. So that was an explosive move. You can see compared to the first over there, I expect 2 and 3 to be just as explosive as this one was. So what does this all mean to us? I still think there is a 30-year cycle around there. It could be 28, could be 35. But then we use financial repression from basically 2012 to 2020. And then after we stopped the financial repression, then the inflation rate started to uptick. Even though we're taking QT and done a great job with it, I still think that we're faced with a lot of inflation because of all the built-up money supply that we're throwing in. What do you think? Tell me in the comments, and like and follow.
If you are an immigrant and you have just arrived in the United States, here are 3 things you need to know to save money. Number 1, car. You don't necessarily need to start a lease and be engaged for 3 years with a car contract. The average lease is around $300 to $500 per month based on where you're going to live. In California, most of the times, it's even more expensive. Instead, you can get a used car, and instead of giving the down payment for a lease, you can buy a car. Don't get a fancy car at the beginning so you can save more money. There are so many websites where you can look for a car, or you can use Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, for example. Be careful because most of the times, not most of the times, but sometimes you can find some scams. Number 2, you need to build a credit score and credit history. If you recently moved to the US, you don't have any credit score and credit history. So the first step is to build it. You can do that by having a credit card, but at the beginning, nobody's going to give you a credit card because you don't have any credit history. So you need to do a secure deposit credit card. A secure deposit credit card allows you to build your credit score and history by paying back your credit card. It's not just a regular credit card, it's a secure deposit. So you need to deposit the amount of money you have to pay back every time. And that's your limit as well. That means that if you make a deposit of $500, your credit limit is $500. So every time you spend $500, you need to pay it back. Doing so, after a few months, you're gonna have different options and different credit cards you can apply. The best options for credit card, it's another topic. But if you want to learn more about the best credit cards, I have some videos here, or you can go my profile and there is American Game where I show some of the best credit card to you. Number 3, housing and rent or buy a house. Most probably, if you move to the US, you are going to start a business or you want to invest your money to grow your career or business. But even if you have the money to buy a house, I don't recommend to buy a house right away. This is because most of the times, you don't know how much you're going to spend after you bought a house. So If you're going to rent at the beginning, you're going to see the average cost each month and extra costs as well. So after a while, you probably understand better if it makes sense to buy or keep renting. Moreover, most of the immigrants arrive in the big cities like Miami, New York, Chicago, or Los Angeles. And renting a house or buying a house, it's really expensive in these places. So start low, don't take a big shot at the beginning so you can save money for other things. And then in the future, you can decide to scale up and get a better house or buy a house. But especially at the beginning, you're going to spend way more than what you have in your mind when you leave. You can follow me for more tips about this topic and check out my profile for other information. See you soon.
So that's the reality. That's the cost of living in America isn't just about numbers on a chart. It's rent that eats half your paycheck, healthcare that's somehow both essential and unaffordable, and groceries that feel like luxury items if you dare walk into Whole Foods. It's a country where some people live in million-dollar condos, while others live paycheck to paycheck, or worse, can't even make it to the next paycheck. And the wild part? A lot of Americans just accept this as normal. If you found this video helpful, relatable, or even just eye-opening, do me a favor. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss a deep dive like this. And hey, I want to hear from you. What's the cost of living like where you are? Drop it in the comments. Let's compare, let's talk, let's be real. Thanks for spending a little of your time here with me today. Take care of yourself and your wallet, and I'll catch you in the next one.